Hello everybody, my name's Alexander White, and today I have got a really simple, short and very, very effective technique for gluing your mixes together. This one's quite subtle, it shouldn't be something that's really, really obvious. If you use too much of it, you will just wash your mix out. But this is alongside using compression. So all the other things that you'd normally do on a mix bus, on your main bus, that's the track that everything routes through to. You still do all of your usual processing, just add this one in to the chain and you'll find your mixes sound much more glued together, much more like all the tracks belong in the same place. So here I've got a track that if you've watched some of my other videos you would have already heard. Let me play a little bit of it to you so you can hear what's happening. Okay, cool. So it's already fairly well recorded tracks and it all kind of works together. But let me show you this fun way to glue things together a little bit better. And if we look at my mixer, I've got my main track. Now this one is every track in my mix is routing through to my main track. In this mix at the moment, I don't really have anything going on. I have a tiny little bit of compression on the drums, mostly nothing else, a little bit of Melodyne on some backing vocals, little bit of processing on the vocals, but otherwise all the guitars, the drums, they don't have any mixing on them at all. So I usually put this as my first thing that I do on my main bus. I jump over here and I pick Ocean Way Studios by Universal Audio. It doesn't have to be Ocean Way Studios by Universal Audio. It can be any room simulator. So any plugin that gives not a sense of reverb, but a sense of a very short, smaller space, maybe a large recording studio, something that gives that kind of character. So I'm going to put it into reverb mode. And I'm just going to undo wet solo. So in other words, I can control the amount of reverb that I have as a percentage. And let's just play the track back and actually listen to this plugin just on the main track affecting everything. So what's really cool about this is it gives the impression that the band is now over there, in the way that a lot of reverbs do. But do you hear how it sounds like a room? It doesn't sound like a big hall. It doesn't sound like a big plate reverb that's got a huge tail that rings out for a long time. It's quite a contained sound. You might just be able to create this with a reverb that is usually designed to be more of a long tail hall reverb just by shortening the decay time. Any reverb plugin that you have that does that kind of thing is perfect for this technique. So what we're going to do is we're going to roll back the percentage amount until we almost don't hear it. Okay, that's what we're aiming for with this technique. For me, where I hear it is where it starts to disappear for me is in that first sort of 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. sort of territory, you know. It's like that quite early, somewhere around here sort of space. Just from experience, I've often found that it's somewhere between 0 and that first little notch. Now I'm going to set it to here, just that first little notch, and I'm going to hit bypass, okay, and have a listen carefully to what happens to the cymbals and the vocal, the high end of the cymbals and the high end of the vocal, okay? Here we go. I'm going to play it off first Now I'm going to switch it on after maybe halfway through the section that we're looping.
After the storm, when there's a ray of light upon my face, it's all torn down, but at least I have my breathing space.
I'm going to switch it off and on a little bit faster and listen especially to the hi-hats. Listen to how they soften.
After the storm, when there's a ray of light upon my face, it's all torn down.
This is a subtle thing. It is very subtle, and it's so powerful and effective. A lot of mix moves, not all, some mix movements are about big things. They're about turning controls hard to make big brightness changes, big bass changes. But so much of it, and I would say possibly the majority of mixing, is about these subtle things that add up over time. Let's play it again and really focus on those hi-hats, because I think that's where you can really hear it. You're not trying to hear it on the sound itself. It's all in the gaps between the sounds that you really notice this glue coming together.
After the storm, when there's a ray of light upon my face, it's all torn down.
This is a wonderful, wonderful trick. Let's just try a different plugin entirely, just to see if it works with another sort of room reverb kind of thing. So this is called a Precision Reflection Engine. Again, it's another Universal Audio plugin. I just happen to use Universal Audio plugins a lot, so that's what I have loads of. This one, I think, actually pretty much comes with anything you buy from Universal Audio. So if you already have any Universal Audio gear of any sort, you will probably have this plugin somewhere. So let's go 100% again and then dial this one back until we're kind of not doing anything that's really obvious.
When there's a ray of light upon my face, it's all torn down, but at least I have my breathing space. After the storm, when there's a ray of light upon my face, it's all torn down, but at least I have my breathing.
Again, the thing to listen to is the way that you get this coating around everything that seems to glue everything together a little bit. Subtle, but really focus on the edges of the sounds, on those harsher moments that seem to soften when it's on. You'll notice that the big Universal Audio diamond is dark when it's switched off, and it's light when it's on.
After the storm, when there's a ray of light upon my face, it's all torn down, but at least I have my breathing space.
This works really well. It's a brilliant plugin to also have when you're actually recording. Just get a room reverb-ish kind of thing, make it really subtle, put it on your mix bus, and as you're recording, monitor everything through it, because it will give you that fantastic sense of glue, that sense that everything is agreeing with each other, and it softens sounds in a really positive way, not in a weak way, not in a way to make things not seem forward and present, but in a way that it takes irritation out of the top end of sounds. It stops that really unpleasant dead sound that you can get when you are recording dry. Let's say you're recording at home or in a small recording studio or in a practice room or something where there's just not really many reflections. When you record a sound like that, you will find that it gets really grating after a little bit of just listening and listening and listening to it, because it needs space. You have got a wonderful auditory system that that is really sensitive to reverb. And if a sound is very dry, it confuses our hearing system and it makes things sound a bit blunt and a bit harsh and unpleasant to listen to. So give this a shot in combination with all of these other things that you can do in a mix. Try a reverb on your main mix bus, which is something you don't see that often, but it works so well. Use it subtly. Don't wash out your mix, unless you're going for a special effect mix, of course. That's cool too. But give it a shot. Just do your next few mixes with it on at a low percentage. And again, don't be confused by the percent number. That's not important. Use your ears. Listen and try a few mixes like it and see how they come out, because I bet you everything will just be a bit easier to mix, a bit more together. Again, subtle one, but really effective. Thank you so much for watching. Please let me know in the comments how you feel this works for you. And I cannot wait to share another trick with you next week. Thank you so much for watching. Catch you soon.